spent the night in Portland, had a good time. So this is the 150th anniversary of Scotch this year. Started as a seed company way back in the day, have grown to everything you can imagine, from Miracle-Gro to Ortho to Nature's Care Organics. With the recent trend and where the laws are changing in different states and the amount of people that are interested in growing edibles at home, and we all know where we live, so our growing season is not yet here, but it's almost over. We're getting a lot of interest with people wanting to grow indoors. Do not want to have to be a scientist. Do not have a lot of time, but willing to make a commitment as to how to do it and learn about it. So about 3 years ago, the company decided to go that way. So we purchased General Hydro, Botanicare, a company called Gavita Lighting, and these three companies are the leaders in the hydroponic industry, not only for retail level, but also the professional growers. So what we're going to do today is a quick Hydro 101, basic as ever, and then we'll go into the Root Farms system, which is a system that allows you to grow both indoors and outdoors, but it's a system that you do not need to be a scientist. You need to make a little bit of a commitment. As far as mixing the nutrients, it's easy as ever. And it's more of an introductory type system for someone who wants to get into hydroponics. And believe me, if you do get into it and you like it, you can expand and get really technical, and pretty much there's no ceiling as far as what you can learn or how far you can go. So, first slide. This is our current customers. You know, most of them started in the past year. They learn about it on social media. They grow plants faster without the mess, and they didn't like how expensive it could be or the amount of education you needed. So hopefully Root Farm solves all these problems. Who are our prospective customers? Growing hydroponics, not sure where to start, not sure where to buy, but you can grow 365 days a year. You use less water. You can grow almost any plant you want, regardless of the season. You don't have to weed or spray any herbicides. And then you can find information just about everywhere. And as a matter of fact, if you went onto YouTube and hit Root Farm videos, there's probably a half a dozen how-to videos that are very, very informative. I was just going to put those up here and sit down with you guys, though. And basically you can grow everything. Vegetables, tomatoes, fruits, herbs, and herbs. Alright, Hydro 101. Like we already talked about, grows faster. You get more yield, use less water. You can do it soilless growing, which means cocoa core or the potting mix. So hydroponics is not just growing with a water system. Hydroponics also entails growing with a potting mix or a potting mixture. Once again, cocoa core. So both of these products have no soil at all. So one of them is cocoa core. Anybody know where cocoa core comes from?
Coconuts?
Who said that? There you go. Nice job. It's actually the brown husky stuff on the outside of a coconut that we process, and what it does, it actually holds 8 times its weight in water. There's no nutrient value to it at all, but it's just a good ingredient. And then there's the hydroponics we're talking the water base. So what the water base does, you grow better plants faster. Your yield is almost twice as growing in a container. And once again, you can grow it year-round indoors. Now, as you look at these,
good morning, everybody. It's one of the ladies today. I have another winner here on our door prize
drawing. If you put that in your home, you have to put it somewhere where it couldn't be part of the actual, decor or where people could see it. This system here is designed once it's planted that it actually fits in pretty nice in your kitchen or something like that. Traditional methods. All right, let's get to Root Farms. All right, so you have two choices with Root Farms. You have the water-based system, and you have the growing system. that is most likely going to be used outdoors with felt pots. Once again, the bag growing medium, and the nutrients remain the same. The biggest difference is, like I said, this is outdoors. You probably use a natural light, and then once you begin feeding it, every time you water, you need to add nutrients. It's this process, whether you're using the water container or the felt pots, this is a nutrient-based process. Every time you water, you add nutrients. Every time you change the water, you add nutrients. And that's why you get the bigger yield, better tasting, and faster growth. And that's basically the whole line. So this is not complicated at all. You've got the seed starting kit, which is right there. What it is, it's a tray, in a tray, with plugs that have little holes in the top. They're made from peat moss, and they have like a little bit of a plastic mesh around them. So the way you use this is, so they come 50%. So that was kind of a mistake on our part. We're going to come out with the one that has only 10 in it, but for now we got the 51. So if you're doing a garden outside, this is fine. But if you're doing a unit with just a few plants in the felt pot, then you're only going to use 4 or 5 of those. So what we could suggest is take out the remaining 45 or so, put them in a Ziploc bag, keep them dry, and then just use the 2 trays with the ones you're doing. And the way it works is you put the seeds, there's a little hole at the top, seeds go in there, fill the tray with a 1/4 inch of water. If you've got a light source, even better, put it over the top. If you don't, you'll probably be okay until the seeds germinate, but then you're going to need some kind of light source. What we recommend is that once you see the germination on the seed, we ask you to add well, we've got one that says it's actually Root Farm base, okay? Okay. Every time you add nutrients, you always add Root Farm base. And then, along with the Root Farm base, you get to whatever you're growing. All-purpose would be, if you're growing a variety of plants, rather than buying one and one and one, you could go with the all-purpose, and that would take care of just about all of them. If you are growing flowering plants, or any plants that you would benefit if they had nice buds on them, this here would probably be the one to use. And then this is the veggie one. So if you're growing veggies, pretty easy. You use the base with this one combined, and then you're good to go. 1/4 inch of water on the bottom. Once it germinates, start adding the base or another specific nutrient package you want to use. Okay?
Pam, if you're in the store, please come to the customer service desk and claim your door prize. Pam, thanks for joining us today, Ladies' Day.
Thank you.
Once they have germinated, it's time to put them into the system. So, if you look at the system, it has 5 different holes. So you've got 4 around the edges and 1 in the middle. This unit in the middle has a water level indicator. So it doesn't always have to be in the middle. If you're going to use the middle as a grow space, then the water indicator could be around the sides. And that basically tells you where your water level is. The unit holds 6 gallons of water. We recommend putting 5 in. And remember, every time you put water in, you put nutrients in. So if you're starting out, you've got the germinated plant, these little baskets right here. This plug fits perfectly into here. And you know when it's time to put the plugs in here is when you look at the bottom of the plug and you see the white roots penetrating the actual plugs. So then you just take them, pop them in here, throw them into the system, add water. The system comes with a pump that sits in the bottom. It's a 2-way pump. So you fill it with water, but you still have to clean this every 10 to 14 days. So there's a reverse on the pump where you can just pump the water out into a 5-gallon bucket and then add new water and new nutrients. So you've got 5 grow holes. If you're going to grow lettuce like they have out there, then you could certainly use the 4 around the edges. If you want to grow a tomato or a patio tomato or some kind of low growing tomato, we suggest using one on either side, one here and one over here. Or if you're going to grow a good size, tall tomato, then we suggest growing it in the middle one, and basically it'll overtake the whole thing, so there's no room for the other ones around the side. So you get your water indicator, you get your circulating pump. We always talk about pH, whether you're growing a lawn, a potted plant, anything. pH has to be in a range, okay? When you're using this system, you need to be very, very attentive to your pH because it fluctuates really easily. So you've got to make sure your pH is correct. So the range is 5.5 to 6.5. Anything below or above that is going to restrict the roots from taking in nutrients, and you'll see it rapidly. Either the plant will start turning yellow, it won't grow, you'll know your pH is off. So the way you do it is, fill your container with water, 5 gallons of water, mix your nutrients in another container, and it tells you right here what to do. So seedling stage, 1 teaspoon per gallon, early growth stage, 1.5 teaspoons, and mature growth stage, 2 teaspoons. Mix them in a separate container with water, empty it into the tank, mix it up a little bit, and then test your pH. Once your pH, sir.
What do you use to test pH?
Well, so we got pH and pH down, but they sell pH testers, okay? There's either the litmus paper that you dump in and do that, or I like the ones that come in a little bottle where you put 2 drops of the solution into a vial and you add water to it, and it actually turns color, and you just compare the color to the bottle. That's the easiest way to do it.
You sell those?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So then, either up or down, you've got these. And I learned this the hard way. You need so little of this to adjust the pH, it's just outrageous. Exactly. I did, so I'm not really a guy who reads directions that well. So I had to raise the pH, and I took the pH up, and I did what it did, like that. And I whooshed it around, and I tested it, and look at that, it was like 8. So I started using this one, and I got down, and finally I got it within the range, and the next time I had to do it, I was really careful of just did drops, because it does adjust it that much. So you got the water in it, you put your plants in it, you turn it on, and right where, you go back, okay, so right at these 4 different locations and in the middle, once you flip that switch on the pump, there's a steady stream of water that continues to just spray water and nutrients right on the bare roots. I mean, it just continues. It's not a hard stream, but it's a constant light stream, and that's how you get the growth. It just keeps firing nutrients at these bare roots the whole time. So you get a huge growth amount. The commitment is you need to change the water every 10 to 14 days. So it's a process that you need to do, but it doesn't take long. It takes about 20 minutes. You just flip the switch, pump it out, add your more water, adjust your nutrients and your pH, empty it into the container, flip the switch, and you're good to go.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does the light source have to be that, or can it be natural light?
Nope. Oh, it could be natural light, but you have to.
Yeah, I have a sunroom in my house that southern exposure all day long.
So what happens on cloudy days? You know what I mean? So
What's that?
cloudy days, I mean, you do probably get some light. We always recommend light. If you're indoors, we recommend lighting. I'm sure your sunroom would probably be almost as good, you know what I mean? But we always recommend lighting. And the lighting that we sell is a Gavita light, right here. So it is completely full spectrum. So it's full spectrum lighting. It's an LED light. It's only 45 watts, so you won't even notice it on your electrical bill. A lot of lights, if you're using a growing system inside, you always see the person who's doing this will have a fan blowing over the top of the plant. That's because the lights that you're using throws out a lot of heat. You could run this for 24 hours a day and put your hand right up under there and you barely feel any heat at all. So it's the full spectrum lighting, LED. It is 16-inch legs, so when you're using it for getting your cuttings or your seeds started, it's ideal. Or
good morning, everybody, and welcome to Lady Day. I have another door prize winner to announce here. Our next winner here today is Cindy Lewis. Cindy Lewis, if you're in the store, please come to the customer service desk and pick up your prize. And thanks for joining us today. If you haven't already done so, please come to the customer service desk and put your name in for the next door prize drawing. And thanks for joining us today for Lady Day.
Okay, so it comes with 2 legs. They extend to 16 inches. The good thing about it is it also comes with a hardware kit, like you can see out there, where you can actually hang it once your plants get to a good size and so forth. So basically, you're using less energy. You're growing it from seed to harvest. You start the seeds on the countertop, and it's designed with LED recipes to optimize growth without that harsh purple glare. You know, if you drive by somebody's house, you know they're growing something upstairs because you can see the purple light in the window. Yeah. So it's growth rich, 365 days a year. Very easy to use, relatively inexpensive because it's a one-time investment. These are dirt cheap. These are like $8 a piece. And these, if you only use, what's that? They do. I mean, you're only using a teaspoon, you know. So these last forever. The light itself, I think retails for $99. This retails for like $79 or $89. And then, I mean, you don't need to use this here. I mean, you can certainly start seeds in your little pea pots or your Jiffy Sevens, whatever. If you do that, they recommend that before you put them into the basket, that you carefully remove as much of the peat from around the root system as possible. Because what it will do, it will eventually clog up these little baskets. Okay? But if they do clog up, don't worry. The next time you change your water, you want to empty out the stuff on the bottom, and then you're going to clean these up too. So even if they're dead, you're still okay. I mean, felt pots, I guess if you're growing outside, is a good way to go. I've never used them before, but they prevent any root circling at the base of your plant. They provide aeration and a lot of oxygen to the root system, which is key, and they're easy to grow.
I think that's all right.
And it's like I said, it's easy. I mean, literally the instruction book with this is like three pages. I mean, it's like do this, and this, and this, and then in 10 to 14 days, repeat. So it's that easy.
So if you buy all of that in one package, is it less expensive than
No, it's just a la carte. You know what I mean? You can just buy it all and do it that way. I mean, like I said, you can skip this part here. If you know you have alkaline water and you're only going to need pH down, you can buy the pH down. Although I do recommend having this because it's only $3. In case you overdo it with this, because you can bring it back in range with this right here. Exactly. And then, like I said, the nut lights 99. I think the whole thing together was like $279 or $80 or something. And that's pretty much it. Questions? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Could you do this in your basement, or does it have to be a certain temperature?
It depends on your basement. I mean, if it's going to be 50s, 60s, that may be a little cool. And like I said, you don't get any heat from this. Other lights you probably would, and that would probably be what you would need it for that. But if it's going to be in a basement, then I would, I'd be careful. It might be cool. I mean, it may not kill the plants, you may not get the growth.
Depends on the plant.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Yes?
How does it work with the outdoor one? You put the nutrients, just water?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes you do. So what you do is you mix your nutrients, same same technique. So you use the base every time, and then whatever you're growing, you just specify whatever veggies, flowers, or whatever. You add those to a separate container. Water. Every time you water, you add nutrients. So every time you water your plant, you need to do this. And you water till you see water coming out the bottom of the pot, or it starts to bubble up on top. The first time you do it, it's going to bubble up until everything gets wet the first time. But once you do that, then it's the same thing every time. You water it till you see it drain out the bottom. If you're indoors, you might want to put a saucer under there because it will leach through the bottom.
So what's the difference between using that and using a regular pot?
So what the felt does, so if you use a plastic pot, you really don't get a lot of oxygen around the root system. Plus a plastic pot will tend to make the roots circle, they call it circling, which they'll just circle around and just grow into each other and they get root bound. Okay? So what this does, this promotes aeration, ton of oxygen going around the root system, which the roots love, and also will prevent any kind of root bound or circling and so forth like that. Yeah.
Frustration for me is once you go into the water system, depends on where you stick it, like the light. I mean, it's got the hangers and stuff, but do you sell with a stand that you can hang the light?
Not yet. I may have to improvise on that. It's a great idea. I was looking at one of the YouTube videos the other day, and this gentleman, they call his name is like Hippie Al or something like that. He's from New York, and he's one of those guys where he got this from his daughter for Christmas. So he's doing a whole thing of videos on YouTube as he goes through the process. So he's doing it, and he's commenting, and he's got it planted, and it's like 3 weeks, and his plants are still only this big. And he's very unhappy about it, so he gets a hold of the Root Farm people, shows them his system. Well, his growing unit is on the floor, and he must have high ceilings. I mean, his light must be 12 feet in the air. And it was like, what are you doing? So they just said, you might want to try this. So he actually lowered it down to like 2 feet above the container, and like within a week it was like, boom. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have one of those swags from
I don't think you'd be able to improvise something. I wouldn't think. Yeah, it'd be nice if you had a stand. Yeah, exactly. So,
On the vegetables, is the water system, can you grow carrots and beets, root crops?
No, only.
What about the outdoor?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
You could on the
Yep.
outdoor
As long as you use. So this is a 16 quart. This is 32 quarts, so you could probably do carrots, radishes, things like that in there very easily.
Another question. If I'm growing things indoors,
Yep.
and there's no breeze or anything to flex the plant and make it grow more woody, has that been a problem?
No, not at all. Not that I know of. Nobody has brought that up and commented on that.
I know the cabbages and broccolis and so forth, you need to stretch the plants,
Yeah.
otherwise they just get
Yeah.
wriggly.
I mean, you could, whatever you're growing, you could do things specifically to enhance their growth. Like, I was just thinking of one. So some plants, to get them to go to bud, you actually have to reduce the amount of light they get. So what you do is you grow the plant to the size that you want to, and then you remove the light. And then what that does, it forces them to bud, and it forces them to push fruit also. So, I mean, once you've got the plant growing, you can probably lock in on whatever specific plant you're growing, and then modify your system to that plant.
Now, in your instruction book, does it have plant-specific problems?
Absolutely not.
I guess you've got to write one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I was on the internet for maybe a half hour the other day. It is just anything you want to know about hydroponics. You can get as technical as you want, or you can keep it as basic as you want. There's videos, like I said. I mean, it's really something that you can do in a matter of a couple minutes and figure it out. Yeah.
When the roots start going all the way to the bottom, do you still recommend buying animals in there?
Yes. Because once the roots get to the bottom, so you figure the normal growth, as tall as your plant is, basically you get the same height.
Good morning,
for
everybody,
roots
and
underneath.
welcome to
So if you've got a
Ladies'
tomato
Day.
plant
It's
that's up
just
here,
about 11:30, and
and
we'll
your
be
roots
starting
are
our
at
next
least that high down
presentation
there,
in just a
you're
couple
going
of
to be
minutes.
adding
Rob
water
Dennis
to
from
this
Doing Best
almost
We'll
maybe
be doing a
once a week.
presentation on kitchen
Okay,
cabinet
so,
facelifts
yeah,
with a new product called
keep it full.
Aqua Enamel. So at 11:30 in the Garden Center, which is at the end of aisle 4, we'll have a presentation on kitchen cabinet facelift. And if you haven't done so already, please stop by the customer service desk and enter your name for a drawing. And I'll be doing another drawing in just another minute. Thanks for joining us today.
So as you can see, there's holes around the top of the container. These are meant, if you've got an upright plant that may need support, you could actually take a tomato cage, flip it upside down, and it'll fit into these holes right here for support. Any other questions? All right, let's do the drawing. Everybody got one of these, right? If you didn't, raise your hand, I'll give you one.
Oh, yes.
You need one? Okay, 2. All right. There you go. Right. Okay, no peeking, ma'am.
Oh.
All right.
I didn't want.
Okay, number is 401575. Congratulations. I am also going to give you my business card. So as long as you don't